Power scaling is something very important in the Honkai Star Rail community. Regardless of how little we know and how pointless it is, we will always be wondering who would win in a fight between X versus Y. And today, I will be answering that question in my own way. In this video, my goal is to take all of the known Emanators I can find and scale them to how powerful they are. And from what I've read, it's pretty shocking, but also not shocking at all. The way I will be doing this is that I will be ranking these Emanators by path, then by how strong they are. So if blank path is the strongest, I'll show you exactly why through explaining these beings and their world-shattering ability. Also, some paths like the Harmony have Emanators that are just incarnations of Shippei, and I consider that cheating. They have to be a separate entity. Good? Good. Because this is Honkai Star Rail's most powerful Emanators reveal. Okay, so first of all, I have a confession to make. I underestimated this path for a while, because we've only seen their minions. Then this guy, who looked all important and then got absolutely ratioed by Acheron, got turned into an artifact set before he could even release. But little did I know that this guy was not an Emanator. He was just a flickering spark trying to shine enough to be recognized. He didn't hold a candle to what the path of destruction was truly capable of. To my knowledge, this path has the strongest Emanators possible, in my opinion. So let's start with someone you have probably never heard of by the name of Zephyro. Now, when I heard of a planet-destroying threat, I thought that was the peak of an Emanator's power, but I was wrong. I was so incredibly wrong. Because let me tell you about what Zephyro does. Zephyro is a one-man army who has an obsession with violent destruction to the point that he sees beauty in it. He thinks something in the moment of its destruction is the most gorgeous thing in the world. But that is not why he is ranked number 1. No. He is ranked number 1 because he is the only known Emanator capable of destroying entire galaxies. Oh yeah, we're starting off hot here. This guy is a galactic level threat. The last time anyone heard of him was of some Elation followers who said he was in the Tia Nua galaxy, I think that's how you pronounce that, and this galaxy no longer exists and has been completely destroyed. How? I couldn't tell you. So let's move on. By the way, I will be skipping Emanators that do not have any noted feats, so this list is gonna have some missing spots. This is a work in progress here. Anyway, next up we have some terrifying individual who goes by the name Sun Devourer. I'm not kidding. That's his actual name. This absolute threat is not known for disintegrating galaxies, but instead has a slightly more laid-back approach. And by laid back, I mean this guy extinguishes suns, which isn't galaxy level, but is far more evil. And I'll explain why. Because the sun, like our sun in real life, is the life giver. We can't live without it. Plants won't grow without it. We won't get vitamin D or be able to see, not to mention we'd probably freeze to death instantly. And this guy doesn't just take out one sun, he takes out all stars in a specific area, then sends in the Antimatter Legion to mop up any survivors, which are probably mechanical life forms because no human being is surviving without a sun. So right out the gate, we've got a galaxy level threat and a guy who blows out stars like their birthday candles. Who could be next? Well, tell me if this sounds familiar. This next guy's name is Iron Tomb. Wanna know what he does? Well, what if I told you that this guy was literally the Honkai? Again, I'm not joking. His entire motive is to go to technologically advanced worlds to eliminate all technological advancements. Survivors of his attack state that their planet suffered intellectual collapse, their machines malfunctioned, malfunctioned and their AI devices either froze or started attacking their own soldiers. Which sounds so much like a Hersher, I don't know how much closer it can get. If you told me Iron Tomb was a Hersher, I'd probably believe you. Bro is literally the Honkai. Finally, the last member on this list of the Emanators of Destruction, none other than our favorite evil Heliobus and unlicensed chiropractor, Phantilya. Yeah, she's the weakest Lord Ravager we know of, and we're really lucky to have run into her and not the others, because she's not even planet level. She's just cruel and sadistic. And as for her abilities, as we know, she is capable of destroying a person's body and spirit, as well as possessing people and taking their bodies. Her favorite type of destruction is internal and self-destruction. That means that she actively wants you to, and she will possess you to make you do it. She's a sickie, but at least she's beatable. Moving on to the second most dangerous path, we have the unassuming yet shockingly powerful Abundance? Yes, we only know about one Emanator of Abundance, but this guy, or should I say tree, is enough to earn the Abundance the second place spot, because Shuhu fought against the High Cloud Quintet and almost won. And let me tell you why. Because you see, Shuhu was a tree with really deep roots, and he used said roots to revive a planet. And by revive, I mean he brought it to life. This planet's name was Rahu, Devourer of Worlds. And besides having a villain name an edgy middle schooler would come up with, the Shinjo Alliance messed around and found out why exactly he's named that. Because this planet ate the Shinjo Tongcheng and almost everyone on it. But unfortunately, that is the only Emanator of Abundance we know about, but being able to take out one of the Hunt's flagships and almost took out another one if the High Cloud Quintet lost? Yeah, that's a second place for me. In third place, we have Acheron. No, I'm sorry. According to her current feats, Acheron does not deserve this spot, because the next up, we have the Erudition's Emanators. Honestly, if I could count Rupert 1 as an Emanator, which he wasn't, the Erudition would be number 1 on this list, because this guy was a universal threat. I made a video all about him, you should watch it, it's great. But Rupert is disqualified for being too base to require an Aeon's power. So instead, I've got to say the ranked first and strongest Erudition Emanator we know about is the Herta. Oh yeah, I know. But if you've been on the channel long enough, you'd agree with me, because of a little quest called The Trees at Peace. If you watched my video, which is right here by the way, it's great, go watch it, you would know that Herta is the sole owner of the specs to create the Imaginary Implosion Pulse. A weapon that has only been activated a single time, but destroyed 24 planets in a single blast. And again, Herta is the only person in the universe who knows exactly how to make it. I don't think she ever will make it, but she could. And for that, she ranks higher than Mr. Return to Monkey, Dr. Primitive, the guy who goes from planet to planet on skates fitted with gravity capture technology of his own design to turn people into monkeys. Why? So that Noose, his Aeon, can guide them along the proper evolutionary track. Because Dr. Primitive and many of his followers believe that human evolution is flawed and requires a factory reset. Because evolution is definitely something you can just respect like skills in an MMO, right? Lastly, we have a genius who could possibly be a multiverse level threat like Auto Apocalypse himself. Xandar 1 Quabra, the guy that created Noose before it ascended to Aeonhood. This guy somehow came up with the cosmic tree theory, which means he somehow figured out that the imaginary tree exists. The tree that is the source of all timelines and dimensions in the Hoyoverse. And since he's disappeared, he might have actually found it, but we don't know. So I'm putting him in third since I can't confirm anything. Finally, in what I'm sure is a shocking fourth place is the Nihility's Emanators. We only know one, and that's Acheron, our Emanator of nihility. Now, Acheron is probably holding out on us because I personally believe that she has all of the power of the nihility at her disposal, unlike other Emanators. And the nihility is probably the strongest path because black hole Aeon. But as of right now, her strongest feat is just blowing up the Penacony dreamscape, leaving that giant scar and killing Ifrit along with the entire cast of characters I'm sure people had already started saving for. Which isn't anything planetary, but I'm sure she's stronger, just not sure how much stronger since using her powers is probably killing her, so we might never see it. Though I hope we do. And to further clarify, Acheron would 100% beat Herta in a fight. But if Herta were to create the Imaginary Implosion Pulse and use it anywhere near Acheron, she's toast. Which kinda makes Herta the Batman of the Emanators because she basically wins any fight as long as she has prep time. Unless, again, Acheron is just the strongest thing we've ever seen. In which case, prove it. Please, I would love to see it. Anyway, in dead last, we have Diamond, one of the only known Emanators of preservation, whose only feat is creating the cornerstones to spread the tyrannical and genocidal colonization of the IPC to the furthest corners of the universe possible. Yeah, this guy basically created the Chaos Emeralds and said, "Hello, I like money," and really doesn't do anything else. He just exists to sever parts of his power, giving them to the cornerstones, and if they use them, he takes a vote on whether the use was worth it, and if not, they die. That's what this whole Myriad Celestia was about, by the way. They were literally casting votes on Aventurine's life, and he lived by one vote. So he gets a new cornerstone. I hate these guys. Diamond probably also crypto scams, but that's just my opinion. Doesn't that sound like something an IPC leader would do? Don't buy Klipoth coin. It's not going to the moon. Anyway, that is all the Emanators that I am aware of that have known feats. The rest are either unnamed or not confirmed to be Emanators like the Shinjo's Generals or this Marshal Hua that we keep hearing about. Or have something to do with the Harmony, because the Harmony is just everything and I consider that cheating. Somehow Shipei is its own Emanator, multiple times over. Go figure. And for Emanators like Elio, who knows really? We don't really know anything about the followers of the Finality other than the fact that their Aeon goes backwards in time. So they could end up being the strongest path and strongest Emanators or the weakest path and weakest Emanators. But judging by how strong the Finality is in other games, probably the strongest. Which means that I'll probably have to remake this video at some point because I'm sure we will run into a lot of different Emanators and a lot of different pseudo-Emanators, but at least this will be a fun video to look back on, right? I sure think so. But what do you guys think? Be sure to let me know, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace, y'all.